Good afternoon. My name is Nicole, and I'm here with Ron Lichtsinn. We're at Lichtsinn Motors, 1 mile from the Winnebago Itasca factory.
Good afternoon. We're broadcasting live right now, and first of all, we want to welcome all of you, our guests, to our live webcast today. We thought that we would take an opportunity, since we help so many first-time RVers out there, walk you through just some simple basics on getting set up with your RV, whether it's a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, or a motorized coach. And we're going to walk through some common basics. We're going to walk through some things to look out for. We're going to show you some things to do, some things not to do. We're going to cover some maintenance, and of course, like we do every single month, we're going to take all of your questions live. So just a couple of housekeeping issues before we get going. If you look in the left-hand side of your screen, there will be a chat box. And that gives you an opportunity to chat in any questions that will come directly to my tablet, as well as Josh's tablet behind the scenes. And we'll interrupt as we go, and we'll cover each of those questions live and get your questions answered as we go through today's RV 101 webcast. I also just want to remind you, we've had great success with this. In fact, yesterday, Jason Brookoff, one of our RV sales consultants here at Lichtsinn Motors, helped a guest literally thousands of miles away purchase this coach through one of our live high-definition video interactive presentations from the comfort of that guest's own home or office. So keep in mind, we can do that right here in our production level studio at any point in time on any of our in-stock RVs. So today we're going to go through RV 101. I'm going to let Nicole Lovett-Glazer take things over. I'm going to interject and cover questions as we go. So Nicole, take it away.
Thanks, Ron. All right. I get a lot of questions from customers who this is their first RV purchase. Man, is there a checklist, a bunch of things that I need to think about as I'm starting to get my campsite ready? And actually today we posted a blog with a checklist. It's pretty generic, but it's going to give you just a nice list of things. You can keep it in your coach. Things to think about as you're pulling into a campground. First off, I'd say check in. See if there's anyone available right there at the post that can help you get parked. You're going to want to take a look at your campsite. Is it one that you're going to have to back into? Are you able to pull through it all the way? If that's the case, just take a look. Are there tree branches? Are there any obstacles that may make it tricky for the slides to go out? You certainly would hate for that to happen. Also, think about your awning. Great rule of thumb, walk off that awning when you're at home in a clear open area. Get a sense for the space needed, so that way you're not having an oops moment. So you go ahead, you get parked, and we're going to get plugged in. But before we get there, I do want to just comment on a few products that we've got along the way.
And why don't you also, Nicole, go ahead and walk our guests through what this coach is, just so that they know what they're looking at.
Absolutely. This is an Itasca Navion IQ 24G. And it's a 2015 incredibly popular model that we've got. It's really nice. It's got the walk-around queen bed in the rear.
Yeah, one of our most popular. It's a double slide-out floor plan. We'll cover a little bit of that as we get around the outside. Because we do have a rear queen slide and also a driver's side slide here that we actually don't have out right now, just so that we could show a little better demonstration of the dump center, which we're going to cover here in a moment.
All right. So you're going to want to know on your coach, where are those hookups, your dump center? Are they aligned with what is at the campsite? As you can see, we've got our dump station right here. I think that's something that's so intimidating to a newbie, and it really doesn't have to be. We've got a couple products that make it even easier, but I'll just show you how simple it really is. So I do have gloves. Ron, you want a pair of gloves?
No, I'm good, because this is brand new, but Nicole says that because she knows that I'm a germaphobe.
He is a little bit of a germaphobe. So this is very simple. Oh, and it is winterized here. So we've got our winterization fluid there. And it's very simple to put on. And you're just going to go ahead and drop that where you will dump. You go ahead, you always pull the black first, pull it, and then we're going to move down to the gray paint. However, Ron is going to show us something here.
Oh, no, that's okay. This is an accessory that a lot of our RVers use, and sometimes we utilize this in dump centers, whether they be campgrounds or resorts, that actually have a more refining hole that we can actually adhere the dump hose onto. So this is just a little donut. It's $5. It'll give you an opportunity to actually seat the sewer hose into the septic area. Just a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit cleaner accessory. Another option that Nicole has in her hand right now is this is a valve which Winnebago utilizes on some of their larger coaches. And the reason why we offer this is a lot of our resorts and campgrounds have gone to larger concrete stanchions. And those larger concrete stanchions allow basically the dump centers to be a little bit more protected. And so it becomes somewhat of a two-person dumping job, because literally as soon as we pull the black tank, and you'll see the 3.5-inch PVC, which really will allow that hose to straighten out, as soon as we pull the ripcord on that black tank, that hose is going to straighten out. So if you don't have the security of being able to keep your sewer hose into the septic outlet, it really becomes a two-person job. So this is a valve that we also offer as an accessory here in our parts store. It's included on some of the larger Winnebago coaches that we offer. It's $36. It's not a lot of money, but what it allows you to do is take the sewer hose, twist it onto the valve, seat this into your sewer area, and there's literally a knife blade valve right in through here. And what that allows you to do is pull your black or your gray, depending on what you're doing. It'll stop it here. Then you can walk over as a one-person job, pull this knife valve, and it allows you to to release. Because literally, as soon as we pull this hose is going to stretch out. Most of these are anywhere from 15 to 25 feet. So it's kind of a slinky-style hose that'll straighten out. So these are a couple of accessories that we offer. It just really kind of depends on where you go, and if you're traveling alone, or if you always have two people willing to get dirty, so to speak. So again, like Nicole said, make sure that you don't touch any of the knife blade valves until you have your hose hooked up, because all that the knife blade valve is doing, Josh, if you can kind of zoom in here, it's really just releasing this area right in through here. So you definitely want to hook this up first, because as Nicole found out, we had this coach winterized, and with just a trivial amount of water in it, that came out because that was what was in this area right here. So again, this is your black. You always pull your black tank flush first. The reason why you do that is because you can use the gray wastewater as a chaser to clean out your hose.
All right, a couple dumping questions.
Cool.
If I have a full-time sewer hookup at my campsite, can I leave both my black and gray tanks open?
Yeah, really good question. And really the technical answer to that is no. What you want to do is you want to keep your black tank closed, because that literally is what a P-trap does inside your coach. So if you've ever looked underneath the sink in your home, you have a little P-trap, and there's a trivial amount of water that stays in there. That actually blocks the sewer gases from coming back up. So if you have hookups at a resort or a campground, you can keep your gray tank open all the time. That allows you to take unlimited showers. It allows you to have all the comforts of your own home. Just make sure that you keep that black tank closed all the time and only dump it as necessary. Most experienced RVers find that at the end of their trip, at the end of their week, at the end of their weekend, what they'll do is they'll allow their gray tank to fill back up. That way they've got some chaser in there in case they don't have a black tank flush on the coach itself. So again, just to answer the question, keep your black tank closed, because there are no P-traps generally, depending on your floor plan. There generally are no black tank P-traps that prevent that sewer gas from coming back up. But you can keep your gray tank open all the time to take unlimited showers.
And how much for the quick connect cost?
Just quick connect valve is $36. Lonnie, David, or Chris in our parts department, we can ship these out same day. These work really, really well. In fact, our detailers use these. All of our bays now in our RV facility all have indoor dump centers. So everyone in our service department utilizes these, because literally you can do it as a one-person job. They attach to any standard sewer hose. Again, $36. We can ship them out same day. This little donut, like I said before, gets placed inverted into your dump center, and it's $5. So this is a little bit of a unique floor plan, and Nicole's going to cover kind of a unique thing that this has, because as many of you know, with our dump centers, we use gravity to dump the tanks, and you can actually see where the black tank is here in this coach. So literally, if you look in the floor plan, you're going to find the toilet right over your black tank here. So this is a gravity dump. However, in this coach, the gray tank is in a different location. So we use a drain pump, which is very, very similar to what some RVers may have seen in the past, which is called a macerator pump. And a macerator pump literally allows you to grind up any solids and dump through a garden hose. But with this, Nicole, why don't you go ahead and cover the drain pump, because again, the gray tank is in a different location.
Sure. So we're just going to come on down this way. And you can see this is where the gray tank is located. You go ahead, Josh, why don't you go ahead and zoom on in on this. You see your gray lever here that you're going to pull out. And then take a look, we've got this button here that is nicely labeled drain pump. Go ahead and push that, and that's going to drain your gray tank.
So literally what it's doing is it's pumping the water from the gray tank, which is in a different location, pardon me, Josh, over to the single point dump center. So don't let that fool you, the fact that your gray knife valve is in a different location. There's still only one outlet. So you don't have to move your coach when you're going to go ahead and dump it. Nicole, while you're here, since you do work in sales, why don't you point out what those little sensors are?
These are true level sensors. They are really great. They're on the exterior of the tanks. Winnebago does have a proprietary on these. They are nice because there is no drilling through the tank with rods that are used as the sensors. Sometimes you may find after you dump your tank, your sensors are showing that it's still full. Well, it could be stuff is left on those rods. Also, they tend to corrode over time. These are great because they don't corrode, and then there's just nowhere that they could potentially split the tank. Really, really nice feature here on this coach.
Yeah, and
all
also,
coaches.
Yeah, and Josh, also, if you kind of zoom in there, that's a seamless one-piece rotocast tank that's made by Winnebago Industries in their extrusion area for their plastics, and that literally is a one-piece rotocast tank that the only seam that's utilized in it is the input and then the output down there. So they're made utilizing computer-aided design to maximize the holding tank capacity, and again, there are no seams in it with the exception of the outlet. You'll also see here in this coach we've got a nice sewer hose holder. Most of you that are experienced RVers out there, you're going to find that you're going to want to keep your freshwater hose separate from your dump center and separate from your sewer valve because literally bacteria has a tendency to jump. So it can jump from your sewer hose into your freshwater hose.
All right, a few more questions here. If the drain pump fails, can you still drain the gray tank?
Yeah, there's actually a breaker for it, and there's actually also a way to provide auxiliary power to it. But if you don't have power running to it, you can't utilize a gravity function. So it does have to be operable, but there are a couple of ways to bypass that and provide additional power to it.
And is there an easy way to find sewer dumping locations while I'm out on the road dry camping?
You know, that's a really good question. And generally what I've done is I've looked for city rest areas and also TA travel centers that say that they're RV friendly. Some of the GPS software out there has locations for truck stops that are that are RV friendly. You'll probably see this now as you drive down the road, but if you're looking at different rest areas, you'll see a directional sign, but then you'll also see a yellow circle and it says RV on it. That means they're RV friendly. That means that they typically have propane, dump stations, and the ability to get fuel all in one without moving your coach. So really RV friendly.
And then another question. When we turn our bath and kitchen faucets on, we're getting a rattling sound. Any ideas if that's a typical?
If it's a rattling sound that's coming from the water pump, it's typical that that water pump may need to be reseated. If it's actually rattling underneath, you may have a P-trap that needs to be tightened up, which is very simple. You can do it on your own. So it depends on where the rattle's at, whether it's inside near that area or if it's out by the water pump. Obviously, if you're hooked up to city water, which we're going to cover here in a second, you don't need to run your water pump because by nature city water or resort or campground water is pressurized. It's pressurized either through the city pressure or it's pressurized because that resort or campground actually has a well pump. So this is also a pretty nice accessory that we offer. Our detailers use these because they literally have a swivel fitting on them. So you don't have to actually manipulate the hose to provide a straight dump. It actually has a swivel on it. Every new Winnebago coach will come with a brand new sewer hose that's going to look like this. Some of them will have the knife blade valves integrated into them. This is a Rhino Flex system that actually does have a pre-attached swivel fitting. And it is pre-attached, so you don't have to worry about it giving way. But this is a 15-foot hose that runs $45, and we can ship these out anywhere in the world. So it also fits in a 4-inch RV bumper if you have one of the square bumpers that go onto the rear of the coach. So that's a Rhinoflex.
All right, we'll probably cover this soon, but if you're dry camping and run out of water, where do you fill the fresh water in this coach?
Yeah, so you've got a couple of different opportunities to provide fresh water. If you want to provide water into your tanks, a lot of our coaches offer what's considered a gravity fill. And that's what this little box is over here. So literally, if we look around the other side, this is the back side of our freshwater tank. So if you have a gravity fill that looks like that, all you do is dump your hose in there, and there is an overflow spigot directionally midline in the coach, and you'll actually see it begin to drip out. That means that your tank's full. That's actually an overflow valve. Also, if you have a lot of water pressure, it may actually come back up through here and just drip down the side, so you'll know that it's full. So this is considered a gravity fill. It's got a nice little fitting on here. You just close the door and it locks back up. Now, keep in mind that some floor plans and some manufacturers, other than Winnebago, don't offer gravity fills. They actually have a city water diverter. And what that allows you to do is, if you're hooked up to city water, and this coach actually has the opportunity to do either. So if you're hooked up to city water, which is right here, you'll always have city water running through your coach. So if you're at a resort or a campground for 2 or 3 days, literally you don't need any water in your tank because you've got pressurized water from the resort or from the campground. So let's say hypothetically you're getting ready to take off and you want to take, say, a half a tank of water for your ride home. This is a freshwater diverter. Very simply, all that you do is move this from normal to tank fill, and it automatically diverts the water from your city water system into your freshwater holding tank. So this coach actually has both. If a coach does not have a gravity fill, it will have a freshwater diverter. So why don't we cover that actually while we're there? And Nicole, if you can walk us through what this is.
Absolutely. You're going to want a white hose. This one's called Aqua Pro. We've got it in our parts store. Feel free to contact Lonnie, David, or Chris if you need one of these. It's good though because it's great for drinking water. Sometimes those green hoses are going to leave a bad taste to that water. This is going to be great for drinking water.
Okay, so let me put you on the spot. Why is that?
Please. The sun affects that green hose.
Yep. So this is a white freshwater hose. The reason why it's white, and even the inside is white, is because if you use a green or a black or a red garden hose laying out in the sun, even though it might be green or red, the inside is actually black. And as the sun comes down, it heats that up and it'll distaste your water. That's why this is considered an RV and marine freshwater hose. It also helps you from the standpoint that you don't want to mix these up. So if this is your freshwater hose, this is the one that you always want to contain within your freshwater system. And if your coach has a black tank flush, and for those of you that don't know what a black tank flush is, it literally is almost like the sprinkler system that you may have run through as a kid. So you hook up a different hose to it after you've dumped, and that irrigation system will swirl around and clean out your black tank to get it cleaner done.
Awesome. Thank you. Man, I'm pretty lucky to get to work with this guy every day. All right, so as Ron said, you're going to go ahead, hook it up, your city water, and that's going to be pressurized, so you're going to be good to go once you get this guy hooked up. Again, if you need to fill up or you're going to use from your freshwater tank, just make sure that you move this lever. And Josh, I'm going to have you come down and really zoom in on this so that people know what we're talking about. I don't know if you got it in your last shot, but this is what Ron was talking about when you're going from filling your tank, you're getting ready to head out, or if you're on city water. So keep it on normal if you're on the city water.
Josh, while we're in there, how are we doing on questions?
Good. We have one more. What is heated if you opt for the heated drainage package?
Good question. Okay, so the heated drainage system, which this coach actually does have, this is not considered a four-season coach because it's not a true basement model that uses some of the offshoots from the floor plenums from the furnace to keep your tanks from freezing. Okay, so you can see, as we saw earlier, where the black tank is exposed. If you look up underneath that black tank, you'll see two warming pads And what those warming pads do is they heat up the tank so that you can drain it. So just by nature, just by definition, that is a heated drainage system. It's used for drainage. It will not keep your coach from freezing up, but it does allow you to drain it in colder climates. And so it heats up from the 2 warming pads. One will be placed underneath the black tank, and one will be placed underneath the gray tank. But a great question.
Okay, and then going back to the freshwater tank, how do you sanitize a freshwater tank?
Yeah, good question. And a lot of times we get that question, and what we do is we recommend that at least once a year. It'll depend a little bit based on how much freshwater tank capacity that you have, but literally you're going to use household chlorine bleach. And you're going to use a ratio based on how much your freshwater tank holds, and that's how much bleach you'll actually put into the freshwater system. So if you don't actually have a gravity fill, we have an attachment that we can hook up to a freshwater hose that will run it through the diverter so that it'll get into your freshwater tank system. We recommend doing that at least once a year, depending on what type of climate you run in. So if you're constantly using well water, or if you're a full-timer, or if you're in your coach literally all summer long, you may want to do it every couple months, but at least once a year, and it's a good part of winterization and summerization. But a really great question.
All right, well, let's go back here to leveling our coach. So you're hooked up. You're going to want to make sure that your coach is level, and you may even want to do that before you get all hooked up. We've got a couple products here. Some coaches are going to have the leveling jacks. You may just have blocks of wood, but we've got these great plastic wheel chocks that really make it easy if you don't have leveling jacks.
Yeah, so this is a Lynx leveler system. It comes with a handy bag. There's 10 of them included inside the bag. Typically with our Sprinter products and our smaller Class Cs that don't have hydraulic leveling systems with them, we help people purchase a lot of these, and literally it is like a Lego system. So depending upon how out of level you are, you'll actually utilize that just like Lego blocks that you played with as a kid. And I demonstrated this when I backed this up. It's a pretty inexpensive way to level your coach, and they're really easy to use because depending on how many you need, it allows you to change the degree of level in your coach. So you just stack those up and you can just gently drive directly over them. I only set up the rear on this coach, I didn't set up the front, but a 10-pack with a handy carry bag runs around $50. I'm not sure the exact price point, but they're around $50 for the bag and 10 different leveling blocks. You can utilize 2x6s. We've had some guests use those. It's a really good idea if you do to get green treated 2x6s, because as you know, that's going to be a moist area. So if you do decide to use 2x6s, we've even had some people hook up ropes so that they're easier to pull in and out, depending on if you chalk the inner jewel. So it's a simple and easy way to level your coach. So one might ask, why do I level my coach? And so, would you like me to cover that?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, so you level a coach really for 3 different reasons. The first is obviously comfort. So depending upon how you sleep, you'd want to level your coach for that reason. The second reason is for ease of wear and tear on your slide-out systems. The more times that you can keep your coach level as that slide comes in and out, it's going to keep the cam assemblies or the track system in line when your coach is level. So that's really the second reason, is to ease wear and tear on your slide outs. The third reason, and this is kind of a misconception within the RV industry, but it used to be that literally a refrigerator would not run in propane or LP mode unless the coach was level. With new technology, as you're driving down the road, which in theory you should not with an open flame, however, if your coach is level, it will burn more efficiently on LP or propane. So that's really the third reason, is for efficiency within your propane system. It allows the plenum of the propane to get from the tank into the refrigerator much more efficiently.
And is one box or one bag of leveling blocks typically enough, or do people need more than that usually?
Typically people carry 1 or 2. I just demonstrated 1 wheel here, and we've got 3, 6 being utilized. We're going to demonstrate when we get on the other side. You can also tweak your coach a little bit so that if you have an area that you literally want to shed any morning dew to, or any runoff from your overhead air conditioner, you can also do it that way. I've also seen where some people that are really, really anal, no pun intended, when they get ready to dump their coach, they may utilize some of their levelers to get a better dump depending upon how the coach actually dumps out. So you may actually see some people at a dump center bringing up the passenger side of the coach. But good question. And that's what makes these websites or these webcasts so wonderful, is that they're so interactive. So every question is a good question. Also, Nicole, off to the right there, we also have some wheel chocks. Go ahead and cover those if you would.
Absolutely. You can go ahead and put these on your inner dual. Just going to keep that coach from rolling away.
It's really a necessity if you have a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, because as you know, there's not a park mode for a travel trailer or a fifth wheel. So these are wheel chocks, and they allow the trailer or the travel trailer to not run away. Some people, if you are going to level the coach, feel that these are necessary, just to ensure that if you don't have this 16-inch wheel centered directly on that Lego block, that it doesn't slide back or forth as you get in and out of the coach.
All right.
That's what a wheel chock is.
I know the answer to this question. It's yes, but can I add leveling jacks to my coach? And how do you do that?
Yeah, it depends. Not every coach can you add hydraulic levelers to. Probably 95% of them you can. We do a lot of leveler installations on our Sprinter lines, primarily because of our proximity. I mean, we're literally only 1 mile from Winnebago Itasca, the Winnebago Touring Coach Division of Winnebago, but we're also only a few short hours from the HWH manufacturing facility in Moscow, Iowa. So we do kind of a nice benefit for our guests that purchase a coach from us, or even if you don't purchase a coach from us, we can certainly still sublet it. But if you call HWH, depending upon what type of a leveler system you're going to ask for, they typically run in the mid to upper $4,000 range. We discount that for our guests, so if you want to call in, we can arrange the sublet for that. The other nice thing about that is it allows you to customize where you put your leveler pad. You can meet with the folks at HWH, which are wonderful people, and they'll customize where you want that leveler pad. Typically, all of the levelers that we do are also automatic, which means literally you get to your destination, and as long as you don't have a real sandy or grassy area that you're actually leveling the coach on, you can press one button and be level in less than 20 seconds. So really what that's illustrating in this webcast is just a cost-benefit decision that you, the guest, has to make between using links levelers or hydraulic leveling jacks. But a really great question, and a lot of our coaches have those either standard or optional from Winnebago Industries, but most coaches we can actually add levelers to. I mean, we even see hydraulic leveling jacks now on some of our travel trailers and fifth wheels. So as some of the price points have been driven down, it's made it more affordable for a lot of our guests, but it just becomes a cost-benefit decision as to whether or not you want to spend the money to go to a hydraulic leveler. So, good question. While we're in the furnace area, do you want to cover what this little accessory is?
We've got some screens here. You can put them over your furnace vent, and it's going to just stop any insects from flying in.
It's really good for mud daubers and areas that have mud daubers that create nests within. This is an output vent for a furnace. This is a suburban furnace, so those literally you just basically place one over each end. You see a lot of those, especially down in the southern states where they have mud daubers. It's a good idea also if you have a lot of flying insects that you keep them out of there, because obviously that's going to be a warmed area as soon as you turn your furnace on.
We've got some tire covers here. That's going to just protect your tires in the elements if you're storing this outdoors. A nice way just to protect that from any tire checking.
Yep, and I had this question emailed to me before we started our webcast. As I was having lunch, one of our guests emailed me and asked me if I could cover during our webcast why we actually utilize these. They say they see these a lot at different campgrounds, and yeah, they might not look the best, but why do we use them? So this is an RV tire, and Josh, if you can zoom in on it, that's a Continental 16-inch tire. It's geared for a life of 60 to 80,000 miles. Obviously, RVers don't put that many miles typically on a coach within the short time that they may actually own the coach. What ends up happening with tires is they end up getting UV checked because they sit out in the sun. And over time, rubber very simply will biodegrade. And so what ends up happening is they get weather checked. When the sun hits them, tire covers prevent the UV rays from hitting the rubber on there. So it's a pretty affordable way to preserve what can be a pretty significant investment. This is the tire guard that you literally just slide over the tire and it cinches down at the bottom. We also offer a product, it's a little bit more expensive, but it has a few snaps here and literally just looks like a curtain that covers the wheel well, and it provides for a little bit more of a slender look. But good question. I wanted to make sure that we covered that for the guests that emailed me midday. So again, thank you for submitting those questions.
Okay, we have another question. What
Cool.
kind of screen do you use for the refrigerator cover on the outside passenger side?
Good question. We have that around the other side. I'll just grab it and we'll cover it once again. And as I do that, let's power up. Let's talk about electricity.
Alrighty. This coach is a 30 amp coach, uses 30 amp. We do have it plugged in over here. It's really smart to just go ahead, make sure it is flipped off before you plug it in. You go ahead, plug it in, and you can flip it to on. And then make sure as you unplug when you're getting ready to leave to go ahead and flip it off again. Just keep things safe. We do have a surge guard over here as well, and that's just going to make sure that if there's any spike in power, it's going to protect your electric energy source there.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different types of surge guard. The one that you're seeing here up against our wall, this is a portable surge guard. And the advantage to that is it's probably the most affordable way to protect the electronics in your coach. It's a 30 amp portable surge guard, and it literally just goes into the outlet, and you plug in here as though the female outlet is included right on the sidewall. So the only downside of this, some of these do have locks that come with them. This is about a $300 investment to protect the electronics in your coach. But again, this is a portable surge guard. We also offer, and we can install for you, what is considered a hardwired surge protector. Some of our diesel pushers have that standard because they do have pure sine wave inverters. This particular coach does not have any type of surge guard protection in it. So we can actually either hardwire one if we actually have the space, or this is a portable surge guard.
Okay, and a powering question here too. Is it okay if I still have some of my appliances turned on when I unplug, or do I have to turn all of those off first?
It depends on which one it is. If it's your refrigerator, it's perfectly fine to unplug. If you're running a microwave or a television, you want to turn that off first because it's safer for the appliance. Some of our coaches that have inverters, especially the 2000 and 2800 watt inverters, they actually have an uninterruptible power supply built in them. So as soon as you unplug, it maintains constant power and allows you to continue to run those electronics even after you plug in. So it provides for a lot of efficiency when you're getting ready to embark. One thing I was going to point out as we plug in, and I find this a lot within our campground, and Josh, if you can just slide in here. So I just thought I would cover, if you all can see that pretty well, the three different types of power outlets. So these that have the blades pointing directly at you and they're all in line with the ground up top, that's considered a 50 amp plug. Okay? Most common what you're going to find, this looks like a washer dryer, or excuse me, a dryer plug, although it is not, which I'll cover here in a moment. This is a standard 30 amp plug, and this is traditionally what you find on travel trailers, fifth wheels, and smaller Class C's and Class A's. This is a 20 amp outlet, and you can tell it's a 20 amp because it looks like it's winking at you right here. When you get ready to plug in, make sure that your breakers are in the off position. Okay? What that allows you to do is safely plug this in, and if you accidentally touch any of those poles, you're going to be a lot safer, obviously. Once you're plugged in, then turn the breaker on. Now, conversely, when you're getting ready to take off, make certain that the first thing that you do is turn the breaker off, then unplug. Because what's going to end up happening is you may need to do this in the rain, you may need to do this on a dewy morning, and it's going to keep you safer if you throw the breaker first before you plug in or unplug.
Is the portable surge guard just as good as the hardwired version?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You can see that it'll actually have some specifications on how much protection. That's 2,450. So it just depends on, one, if we have the space, and also whether or not we have the cost versus the benefit of a hardwire versus a portable.
And then going back to the covers, they were asking if we recommend whole RV covers, not just the tire covers, and do we have them?
Actually, you just need to protect the sidewalls. because really what you're trying to do is protect it from those UV rays. Great questions today, though. And let us transition. We have a celebrity with us today as we interrupt our webcast. I want to introduce all of you to Lonnie Fox. Lonnie is our parts director at Lichtsinn Motors. Lonnie, how long have you been with us?
This is my 27th year.
So 27 years of helping people with RV parts. So I didn't prep you for this, but I want to ask you what your number one selling part is that you help people stay protected with.
Oh boy. Probably, well, stay protected.
What's your number one selling part?
Probably things like hoses, water hoses, that sort of thing, and chemical packs. That's probably.
Seems like you have a lot of compartment door struts also, gas struts.
Yep.
From Winnebago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Gas springs. That's probably a real common item with Winnebago. That's the main things.
So I wanted to put a face with a name. A lot of you will reach out and work directly with Lonnie. We actually have 3 different parts advisors now. David Straw, who is home officed in a different location, but is available by phone and internet. Lonnie is our parts director. He's been with us a long time. And then we also have added now a 3rd resource in Chris Anderson. So Lonnie, thank you for stopping out.
Yeah, you bet.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Watch your step as you go back.
All right, another surge guard question here real quick. Is there a surge guard that will keep power at a constant?
Really, that's what that will do. It's not going to manage your power, but it's going to prevent you from spiking. A lot of times what you'll see in RVs is a little outlet plugged in just to a simple 15 amp duplex that will tell you what your power is and how close it is in proximity to 110 volts. But good question.
We do have the screens that were asked about earlier to go over the refrigerator venting. This would be that, and again, we've got it in our parts store. Lonnie can send this out to you if you need something like this. We've actually got a table over here with some other things that just make RVing a little bit easier. We can go through them here. Yeah,
and if we could start, let's start since we just finished our electrical lesson. Let's cover a few other things. We talked about the 30 amp surge guard. That's available also for 50 amp coaches. Again, it's available in a portable version. It's also available in a hardwired version. Typically, we tend to do a lot more hardwired installations in Class A coaches that have 50 amp service. They tend to have more expensive electronics in them, pure sine wave inverters, residential refrigerator packages, all electric coach options. So we tend to do a lot more hardwire installations in Class A coaches that have 50 amp service. One thing that I was going to touch on is with respect to electricity. This may be a cleaner view of it, Josh, but this is what a standard 30 amp outlet looks like right here, and hopefully you don't get too much glare from it. It seems like almost religiously, once or twice a year, we have a guest contact us that wanted to take a 15 amp outlet that they had in their garage, patio, wherever, and convert it into a 30 amp plug. So electricians can certainly do that. It doesn't entail a lot of labor and a lot of time, but it does entail a little bit of education, because traditionally an electrician is going to look at this and think that it's a 220 volt outlet, which is exactly what most dryers are. They're 220 volt outlets. Do not ever allow your electrician to place an outlet like this with 220 volts, because remember, your coach is 110 volts, just as it is in your home. And it seems like once or twice a year we get a guest that contacts us and has lost, if not all of their appliances, at least most of them, because they plugged their coach into a 220 volt outlet that their local electrician wired in. So that was one tip that I really wanted to make certain that you all were aware of. Okay, so go ahead and cover that 30 to 15 amp adapter.
Right, we've got adapters so that if you do want to be plugged in, you've got that opportunity to. This is what we used in our driveway a couple weekends ago. Worked very handy. We also have the
and if I can just cover this a little bit further, this is kind of what I consider my in-law suite adapter. This is what allows me to set up an RV in my driveway, plug it into my garage outlet, and allow my in-laws to stay in my driveway instead of my home. What this does is it converts 30 amp power to 15 amp power. So what that does is it limits how much stuff, for lack of a better word, you can have plugged in. So just keep in mind that if you downgrade from 30 amp, this would be the plug that you'd see on your breaker or on your pull box when you go to a resort or a campground. You plug it in, it downgrades you to 15 amp or 20 amp if you have one of those outlets that is blinking at or winking at you, as I said earlier. Really inexpensive. It's $3. Every RVer should have one of these, because eventually at some point you may have a bad 30 amp outlet. You may want to plug it into your driveway. This allows you to run into a standard duplex outlet.
We also have your 30 to 50 amp adapter, very handy here. If you've got limited access as far as your electricity goes, go ahead and expand on that.
Oh, no, that's fine. So if you go to a resort or a campground that only offers 50 amp service, which a lot of the newer resorts and campgrounds are going to, and you have a 30 amp coach, this is what you're going to plug into. This is what your resort or campground is going to offer you. Again, remember I talked about those blades that go north-south with your grounding pole. This is a 50 amp plug. This is the 30 amp that you'll plug your coach into if you have a 30 amp coach, which most coaches are, or travel trailer or fifth wheel. So this is kind of the inversion of what this is. It allows you to plug your 30 amp coach, travel trailer, or fifth wheel into a 50 amp receptacle.
Great. We've also got an extension cord here. Depending on where your electrical hookup is, you're going to want to eyeball that as you're pulling into your spot. Or again, if you're in a driveway, you're at someone's house, this is going to allow you to get to some electrical power source, maybe in a garage or whatever that may be. This one is 25 feet. Good to have, great to have. We're just going to keep on moving down the line here. Ron, you want to cover this?
Yep, this is just a brand name for a tire, basically a tire check valve, so that you can measure the tire pressure in your travel trailer or motorized coach. The advantage to this one is it is digital, so it's a little bit easier to read. It also includes a double-sided chuck, as you can see here. So this is a lot easier for checking the tire pressure on your inner duals, because as we all know, whether it's an aluminum wheel, a chrome wheel liner, sometimes those valve stems are difficult to get to. So this is a double-sided chuck that comes with the tire mender. It'll measure up to 150 psi. It's accurate to within 2 pounds per square inch. So pretty handy device. It's $32. You can do these manually as well, and they're a lot more affordable. You can pick these up at our parts store, and we can ship them out to you.
We've got an RVing Basics book right here. We do sell this in our parts store for all of those first-time RVers. And I'd say if this is your first RV, you're just going to want to do your research. You know, don't be afraid to get out there and try things, but you've got resources, books, online. GoRVing.com has some great tools and resources. Moving right along.
Yeah, and you know, this is actually one of our most popular sellers. It's kind of the Yellow Idiot's Guide to RVing. We help people with a lot of these. What a lot of people also do, and one thing that if you go to any of the forums on the internet to research our dealership, it's kind of a nice summarization of what we do, what we consider to be an educational orientation, where we literally will do a half-day class with you on your RV. We cover every switch, we cover every feature, we show you what to do, we show you what not to do. We cover maintenance, we cover warranty with one of our RVIA certified technicians. It takes about a half a day, and it's something that if you do any testimonials on our dealership, you'll find people really rave about, is when you leave, you will leave completely oriented. And then we also have a campground here on site, which is completely free, completely complimentary. We invite you and we encourage you to spend a night or two with us. We do have somewhat of a scripted delivery process where we place a memo pad on your dinette as you go through the course of the night. You just jot down questions. We wake up the next morning, we reconvene. So educational orientations have always been a real strong suit of our dealership.
All right, 2 more power-based questions. Are you getting the benefit of 50 amps if you have a 30 amp system plugged into the adapter?
No, you're still limited to 30 amps. And to be honest with you, you really don't need to, because the way travel trailers, fifth wheels, and motorized coaches are built, literally if you are plugged into 30 amp service, you can run everything in this coach at one point in time and never throw a breaker. So there's really no need to. But it doesn't, it would if the coach allowed for it and you actually had the 50 amp service, but there's no need for it.
That leads,
a really great question.
Leads great into the next question. How much can I run when I'm only plugged into 15 amps? Can you run AC?
You can, and absolutely you can. And it's a great tool that we use, just as I said earlier, and hopefully my in-laws aren't watching right now. But you can run your air conditioner, and what you'll end up doing is you'll become a little bit more sophisticated in terms of certain appliances that you'll flip over to propane. So for example, if your coach is being plugged in and it's just sitting with no electrical appliance running, literally the only thing that is running in the coach at that point in time is your converter charger. And what that is doing is it's taking 110 volt power from your shoreline cord and it's charging your batteries. That literally is the only thing that will be running if you have that coach sitting in your driveway. So then if you throw on your air conditioner, you're probably going to be pulling anywhere from 11 to 13 amps, but you're perfectly safe to do that. What you're going to get sophisticated with is that refrigerator, you're probably going to throw over to propane only mode so that it only runs on propane, keeps everything cold. You can stay out there literally weeks with your refrigerator on propane and never have to worry about it even if you're running your air conditioner. Where it gets tricky is when you throw on your microwave or convection oven, because at that point in time you'd want to shut your air off. But you can certainly run a lot of the appliances and be absolutely comfortable on 15 or 20 amp service. Most of the time what we find is if you're going to plug into your garage, you're going to have a 20 amp outlet. But again, that's the one that has two prongs going north and south, and the one is winking at you. That tells you that you've got a 20 amp outlet there. But what a great question.
Keep them coming. Keep those questions coming. All right, we've got several products here. You've got your water regulator. This is just going to make sure that that water pressure remains constant as you hook up at campsites.
Yeah, it's a really good product to have if you go to resorts or campgrounds that utilize well pumps because you can have too high of a pressure. Utilizing these will never downgrade your pressure. What it's going to do is it's going to eliminate any pressure checks running into your coach.
Great.
We help people with a lot of these. This is very simply an elbow. It's a lot easier to attach. I mean, both of these are very inexpensive. This is $7. Basically, it's a brass fitting that allows you to more easily attach your water hose or to have your water hose not bend. So if your city water fill, like most towables are, if they're on the outside of the sidewall, this allows you to basically screw on just as though it was in your home. So that's just a hose saver. It's going to save your hose. It's going to provide for a little bit easier hookup.
All right, as you're looking ahead, we've got several products just to keep your coach clean. It's something important to a lot of our guests. How are you keeping that toilet clean? This is nice. You can throw them in there. It's going to keep the odor away. Same with this product for your sink.
Yep, so this is actually a gray water deodorizer. What this allows you to do is very simply keep some of the odors away out of your gray tank. The difference between this and the Porta-Pak over here, this actually is considered an emulsifier, and what that means is that it's a portion control system, and what it does is it gradually bleeds away and also breaks down the solids in your tank. So some of you that have septic systems may utilize these in your septic system like we do. However, these Porta-Paks, they're deodorants, but they also are a portion control system. They break down waste, they break down paper, and allows for things to be dumped in a much more cleaner fashion, but also can eliminate the fact that you have to run too much water to keep that black tank moist, because as we all know, you want to keep that black tank as moist as possible so that it does break up as you drive down the road.
All right, that next product is just another cleaning product for the exterior of your RV, and just makes it very easy. Right here, there we go, the wash and wax, and just professional strength formula. Again, you're going to be able to keep that coach clean. I know that you were zooming in on this product as well. This is a protectant against sunlight for marine and RV usage. Again, kind of eliminates that or reduces that cracking that sometimes those UV rays can do.
Yeah, kind of the advantage here is it's kind of like the Tide packs that we offer now for washers. It's also like some of the dishwasher packs we have. They're pre-measured. You throw it in a pail and you're good to go. So that's the advantage of the wash and wax. The 303, again, it does keep some of your plastics moist from the UV protectant. So that's a product that you can hand apply. We also have had great success and great testimonials from our guests that have opted for a complete Xylon environmental package that was developed for Boeing that we offer here and we hand apply here in our dealership. So that will also eliminate any UV cracks and things like that in either your sidewalls or the vinyl areas within the inside of the travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorized coach.
And let me just add, Ron, that Xylon is great not only does it protect, but it also makes cleaning very, very easy.
Go ahead, Josh.
Do we recommend waxing?
Good question. Yes, in theory. If you look at the owner's manual to your coach, it'll indicate in there that you want to wax the coach at least once a year. What Nicole was referring to is with respect to our Xylon environmental package, we hand apply that, and you do not have to wax the coach, and it does come back to the 5-year warranty. So a lot of these coaches, especially now that we've got into some 42 and 45-foot coaches, we're running upwards of over 1,000 square feet that you have to hand wax once a year. So we've had wonderful customer testimonials from utilizing our Xylon hand-applied package that we do here at our dealership.
Where do you wash RVs?
Most truck washes. You got to be really careful about the automated ones because if they don't have the ability to lower their PSI, they literally can blow some of your decals, graphics, chrome embossed logos directly off. Most newer truck stops that are automated, so they literally slide down your coach, most of those have an RV mode that will downgrade the PSI. But literally any car wash that has the clearance for it, you just got to know your height.
Can we have the Boeing product, I assume they mean Xylon, added after the fact, or does it have to happen when the paint is new?
It does not have to happen when the paint is new. We still provide the warranty on it, even when it's pre-owned. We do a complete pH bath and hand detail on the coach first. And then what's different about our dealership is we hand apply it. We don't just send it through the pressure washer. We hand apply it. It takes our detailers 2 or 3 folks, generally a full day, to hand apply the Xylon inside and outside the coach.
And last question for now. How often should you use the packs? I'm assuming the deodorizer packs.
Yeah, it's a cost-benefit deal. Whenever I go out RVing, I do it about every other dump. So, good question.
Now, Ron, we get a lot of questions about the satellite, dish.
Yep.
This coach is pre-wired for satellite. So go ahead and talk a little bit about the
And I knew she would throw the baton over to me because I am part of the Best Buy Geek Squad here at the store. So most of our Winnebago coaches, there's only a couple that are not pre-wired. They're pre-wired for satellite, which very simply means up top on the roof. If you get up on the roof, you'll see a little directional where once we cut that out, we can pull the coaxial through. And if needed, we can also fish tape 12-volt through. So you don't have to actually go to the complete elaborate measure of putting a rooftop satellite on. This, which we brought out today, is a portable version. And the advantage here is that you can still get high-definition programming for Dish Network and standard definition programming for DirecTV utilizing a portable satellite. It also provides some nice benefit from the standpoint that if you park in a wooded area and you have some obstructions, you don't have to continuously move your coach to get the best reception. These come typically with a 50-foot coax, so you can move them throughout to get your best quality signal. Most of these are stationary automatic. They come with the 12-volt integrated in. Some actually even have it integrated into the coax. And very simply, you turn it on and you'll have high-definition programming generally within about 20 to 30 seconds. It's a really cost-beneficial way of getting satellite programming. So again, this is considered a portable satellite dish. It's the first of really kind of the 3 types of satellite programming. The second would be a stationary automatic, which can go up on your roof, very convenient. Again, one-touch automatic. You can also do in-motion TV on the fly. We just launched last night with some of the efforts of Josh Dam, our marketing director behind the scenes here. We just launched a very easy-to-use interactive tool on our website. And if you shoot us a note, we can send you the link to it. Very simply, you point-click, answer a few questions, and it will pinpoint the satellite antenna that is right for you. It'll provide pricing, both in terms of parts and if you want us to install it, if it's a stationary automatic or if it is an in-motion satellite system. Very successful. There are a few considerations, though, whether or not your Dish Network or DirecTV and whether or not high-definition programming is important to you. That satellite finder that we have, and we're going to put a button on our website, very easy to use, and it'll pinpoint exactly the antenna that we recommend for you. We also have a couple of resources in our video library on Lichtsinn.com where we have literally, it's a lesson just like this. It's about a 3-minute video, Satellite 101, where I walk you through the 3 types of satellite technology. We also have one of these live webcast archive from when we invited some factory personnel from King Controls out of Minneapolis. They make many of the King Domes, some of the View Cubes, and some of the satellite technology. They came down and did our webcast with us. And we took a lot of your questions live. That's also archived on our video library on Lichtsinn.com, so check those out. As always, you can always contact me directly or Lonnie, Chris, or David in our parts department. We can get those scheduled, and it really, really works out well. Good question. What we also have here, for those of you that maybe don't use your RV all the time, or maybe don't have satellite programming in your home, this is a nice new partnership that Winnebago developed with a company based out of Minnesota. This is pay-as-you-go programming from Dish Network. What's great about it is that you deal with real human beings that speak very clearly and will activate or deactivate your service, and you only pay for what you use. It's very comparable in terms of pricing to if you were a year-round customer of Dish Network, but it's a way to flash it. You can also do it right online if you're internet savvy, which obviously most of you are since you're tuning in today. But you can activate it and deactivate it. There are no activation or deactivation fees. It's pay-as-you-go, and it's a partnership that Winnebago developed through Dish Network and a company out of Minnesota. These satellite receivers are very affordable. This one's only $76, and again, that's the pay-as-you-go service from Dish Network.
That's really nice.
Yeah, we've had great success with it. We also have a lot of coaches now that have the capability of splitting the signal so that you can watch something in the bedroom different from the front living area or perhaps the patio. And these are capable of doing that as well.
All right, let's move around and talk about those Max air cover vents. Incredibly popular.
Yeah, certainly one of our most popular accessories that we do. They're very easy to install, but they can really make life a lot more preventative, but also a lot more comfortable for you. We've got 3 different versions here. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So it's raining. You can have your fan open because you've got this Max air cover vent. As Ron said,
or if you're driving down the road.
Driving down the road, you can leave that open.
If you're away from your resort and it starts to rain, you don't have to worry about whether or not you brought your vent up or down. They're really pretty affordable, but again, it's a good protective device, but it also provides for providing a much cleaner environment, especially in your bathroom, because you can leave that vent open all the time.
Absolutely. You've got kind of your most standard version here. As you're looking, pricing here, just depending on the color, $60, anywhere between $40 to $60 approximately. As you're moving up here, we've got the Max Air Cover 2. This is going to just provide more ventilation. As you can see, you've got a different shape, a little bit more aerodynamic. It's really utilizing the venting system.
Yeah, the other advantage to the Max Air 2, and if you look right in here, Josh, you can see it actually hinges. So if you look at some of the installation instructions, this hinges open, and what it allows you to do is clean your vent. Whereas the standard Max Air is permanently installed. And as Nicole mentioned, you do get a little bit more airflow because you have more vents. Again, this will keep all the rain out. You can utilize it when you travel down the road. But again, this one provides for a little bit more air ventilation. It is hinged so that you can clean it. And they're not a lot more money. The white version here is $49 compared to $38. So not a lot more money, and then we also do the installations right inside our service department as well.
All right, and here you've got your Max Air fan mate, and basically just quite an improvement here from this. It's a lot heavier dutier. Is that a word, Ron?
It is that my sons use, but they're 7.
Oh, thank you.
So the Max Air fan mate, literally, is utilized for high volume fans. And some of the manufacturers utilize high volume fans, so it's obviously a little bit broader. It certainly is more sturdy. We can get these in both white or black, and typically what we try to do is match up the vent cover with your air conditioner so it provides for a streamlined look. And really it's a way to provide for a little bit more sleeker appearance. So some might ask, why would I want white versus smoke? If you do a lot of dry camping or hotel camping, such as the Walmart camper, or if you go to some city rest areas that have overhead lighting, this type of a fan mate or a smoke cover can allow you to sleep a little bit better because you don't have those lights coming through. So that's typically when we go to a black or a smoke finish.
One user here has been told they shouldn't put a max air cover on a powered fan. Is that true?
It depends. If you have a powered and insulated Fantastic Industries powered ventilator fan, they recommend the fan mate. So that's what the fan mate is utilized for. Again, high volume fans, but it depends on which one you're referring to. If you send us the cut sheet or the model or that type of thing, we can recommend the max air cover that's right for you. Fantastic Industries also offers their own. We typically utilize max air. It's more of a standard in the RV industry just based on price point and, quite honestly, just good fortune that we've had with it. It's a great product. Good question.
All right, we have covered a lot of information. We are working our way around. As you can see, last part of setting up your campsite is making it comfortable, making it your own. Ron, I think you were the one who chose this rug.
I did. I chose it. It's obviously too big. This is a 20-foot patio mat. You see a lot of these at resorts and campgrounds because it will keep the inside of your RV cleaner because you're not going to be bringing all that in. It's perforated. You can hose it down. The other advantage to it is you can see it actually has some capability to utilize some staking in it so that it's not going to blow around in the wind. You see a lot of people out at resorts and campgrounds that utilize patio mats. They're barefoot. They're very comfortable. They don't generate a lot of heat, and they're also reversible.
Ron, we've got one of these in our porch, and what I love about it, having small kids, is taking it out, shaking it, hosing it down, as you mentioned. Cleaning it is very easy.
Yeah, so this is this is a 20-foot mat. It's probably worst case scenario with respect to cost. These run between $90 and $99, but again, it's a 20-foot mat. This is a 25-foot coach. It's obviously too big because it goes beyond the patio here where we've got the patio awning set out. But again, 20-foot mat. They're Faulkner mats is the brand name. Absolutely a fantastic company to do business with. Very durable. These will last a long time. They're reversible. You can hose them down. They're perforated. They breathe, and they don't pent up a lot of that moisture going up through into your patio mat.
All right, we've got a few accessories out here. Lawn chairs, again, we're just so excited to have our new parts store in this new facility. So we've got some nice chairs. You're able to set your drink down. We do have Itasca and Winnebago Tervis cups. It's been one of our favorite products. Between the sales consultants, we all have one. And then, of course, we've got some Winnebago gear. Ron? Take it away. You're behind me taking a look at something over here.
No problem. So obviously this is our 6-gallon gas and electric water heater. You can see the venting for it. We do have the mud dauber screens for it, which we illustrated earlier. That was the perfect fit for the discharge from this 6-gallon gas and electric water heater. We always cover a winterizing live webcast towards the tail end of the fall. And one question that we get quite often during that webcast and also questions after the fact is, how the heck do I get at this thing? Because there's obviously a shield here that protects the heat pent up from the propane system. So how the heck do I get at that? Most sockets can't get in here even when they're deep sockets. So this is a very affordable, it's only $11. It's an RV water heater drain plug kit. And not only does it allow you to take that plug out, it does also include some Teflon tape to put it back in, and just provides for a much easier way to get that plug out. So again, this is just an RV water heater drain plug kit if you do your own winterizations.
All right, a few other products just to go over. We could have gone over this while we were kind of doing the dumping thing, but we had them laid here right by the door because they are products to use on the inside. And it's just toilet paper. Again, we've got this in our parts store. And this is quick dissolving, biodegradable. It is fragrance free. So it's just not going to give you any problems going through that tank. We also have toilet cleaner, foaming RV toilet cleaner. And it works immediately with just a little bit of water. So product that we really recommend. All right.
Flip stop.
Absolutely. This is nice. You can put this in your cabinets inside, in your drawers. We've seen it sometimes in the compartments. Just anything to keep the plates, the dishes from sliding around inside those cabinets. Again, sell this in our RV parts store.
Yep, another great use for that, especially as we use Corian countertops, is placing that underneath your appliances, whether they be your Keurig, a different coffee maker, any of your appliances. Those work out really well to not scratch that Corian as your home, literally, is in transit. So we'll test your reflexes.
Absolutely.
What does that do?
Alrighty. This you are able to put into your fan vent, and it's going to provide some insulation so that you're not losing heat on those cold nights. It also blocks out any light if you were to be dry camping in a parking lot somewhere. So very, very handy product to have as you are traveling in your RV. One last thing, maybe not the last thing, we do have some RV step roads. Of course, we've got some tread on all these steps, but nice to wipe your shoe. Make sure you're not bringing the grass and the dirt in, as Ron mentioned earlier.
Really great questions today. So we're going to leave the line open to cover a few more questions if any of you want to chat in any questions. We have some guests. Josh, if you want to swivel around, they might wave to you. They're in our guest lounge right now. Some folks that have been with us in the past. And actually, the lady on the right there commented how much she enjoyed last month's convection webcast that Nicole did such a wonderful job on. So
I think
she even remembered that last month Nicole covered orange roughy in our convection cooking class. So I challenged her to a brownie cook-off tonight. So she's going to make some brownies tonight. But again, Nicole, nice job last month, especially on the convection webcast. So, Josh, do we have any other questions?
That's it for now.
All right, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. Again, we broadcasted live from Lichtsinn Motors here, where we're literally only 1 mile north from the Winnebago, Itasca, and Winnebago Touring Coach Division of Winnebago Industries here in Forest City, Iowa. Join us next month, where we will later in the month cover another live webcast. But keep in mind that we can do a live, high-definition, interactive presentation on any of our in-stock RVs from the comfort of your own home or office with any of our factory-trained sales consultants. So again, get out there, go RVing, and have a great